Crime is up because I feel like crime is up. Okay? It's my personal feeling. It's my personal feeling that matters more. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. My feeling is that crime is up. I see black people all over the place. I see homeless people all over the place. And that scares me. And for that reason, I think we need the military. We need the military to occupy the nation's capital. Donald Trump is moving the troops to the nation's capital, okay? That's where we're starting off today. That is where we are starting our journey on this wonderful morning. The Trump regime, I repeat, is moving its military to the nation's capital. This is quite literally what happens in historic fascist movements. This is how it goes. Okay? This is how it starts. This is how it goes. We're doing it. And it's not even like, it's not on some like 2016 fuck Trump shit. This is just straightforward. This is a straightforward attempt to at least have like some semblance of control when full tilt fascism comes our way. And it's already at our doorstep. And of course, the hilarious side of this otherwise like somewhat scary story is that the inflection point for this military takeover of law enforcement duties in the nation's capital is that a dude by the name of fucking Big Balls got his ass beat by a 15-year-old teenage girl and a 15-year-old teenage boy. That is the reason why we are now having a fucking fascist military takeover of the nation's capital. What are we doing? I'm losing my fucking mind.
The nation's capital put on notice, awaiting the arrival of hundreds of National Guard troops as the president places Washington, D.C. under federal control.
This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back.
President Trump declaring a public safety emergency in D.C., placing attorney...
Yeah, Big Balls is the Franz Ferdinand, you know? That's what we're doing. That's like we don't even have like a real fake crystal knock inflection point. Like
General Pam Bondi in charge of the D.C. Metropolitan Police and activating some 800 National Guard troops, the first time the National Guard has been deployed to D.C. since after the 2021 attack on the Capitol. Overnight, the Secretary of Defense saying they'll be ready to act.
They're going to be proactive. If you take an action or a shot at them, there will be a consequence. We're not going to have National Guards just sitting there like this, seeing a crime committed and not do something about it.
The Guard is being deployed to assist with law enforcement activities. Guardsmen always have weapons available, according to a U.S. official, but whether they will be armed for these duties is up to their commander. The president is painting an apocalyptic picture of the nation's capital, adamant crime is spiraling out of control. But the official figures show crime in the capital is actually in decline. Violent crime recently hitting a 30-year low, down 26% since last year. Burglary down 19%. Murder down 12%.
When we think of emergencies, it usually involves surges in crime.
Mayor Muriel Bowser acknowledges there's little she can do. D.C. is not a state, and the president has the authority to take over the city's police department.
And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised.
Trump, eager to show he's tough on crime, has shown a willingness to use military force in major cities. Earlier this summer, sending 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines to quell immigration protests in Los Angeles. Now he's warning other cities, saying if this model works in Washington, he may use it to fight crime in places like Chicago, Baltimore, and Oakland, all notably Democratic-led cities.
We're not going to lose our cities over this, and this will go further.
Guard troops, we're told, will be in position in the coming week. Now, it's not clear how long they will stay on the streets of D.C., but the president has said he's willing to go even further and bring in additional military forces if needed.
Massaging the numbers, deploying troops to the fucking nation's capital, black bagging people from the streets, and then when there's any sort of inevitable resistance against that sort of thing, utilizing the military to violently squash attempts to stop that sort of thing from happening. It's here. We have concentration camps. We have concentration camps in this country currently. Okay. Is here. This is like, I think this is exactly how this kind of shit happens. Like historically, this is how it has happened. I don't know what more you need to see to arrive at this conclusion. It's just like, what do you want him to do? Run around saying he's a fucking Nazi? Is that what you want to do? Is that what you need to hear from him? I mean, he's got people in his cabinet that have fucking Sig Heiled. You got Elon Musk Sig Heiling at the inauguration. You even got that. Like, I have detailed exactly how this is going to happen, and it's going along in the exact ways that I said it was going to happen. Big Balls got beat up by a 15-year-old in D.C. and Trump sends the National Guard. 15-year-olds get murdered in schools across the country and Trump sends thoughts and prayers. Yeah. There's a bunch of interesting stuff, but it's framed as law and order, so Republicans do kind of like it. Also, there's a lot of black people in D.C. No, for sure. This is for that reason. He's doing it for that reason because D.C. is a black city, okay? That is the main reason. This is a way to stop. This is a way to just basically signal in the same way that, like, when you do ICE raids in, like, Los Angeles and you rip apart families, like, you're saying to your base, to the most racist elements in your base, like, I'm doing this for you. I got you. No more Mexicans. Like, I hear you, right? This is the same version of that, but just for black people. Ironically enough, it's also for the same base because those guys want brown people and black people to get the out of the country, right? Or to be violently suppressed. So you're designing this like incredibly fucking violent, ridiculous, this incredibly violent, ridiculous enforcement mechanism specifically to soothe the interests of some of the most reactionary elements within your base. I don't think you can keep pushing like this without significant response. I think this creates a lot of animosity. The problem, of course, is that you don't have a well-organized opposition party against this kind of thing that's like actively egging on the population to respond, to actually throw a fit, to fuck shit up. You don't have that anymore within the Democratic Party. They're gone. And you kind of need that. This is not me shepherding people into the Democratic Party. This is just me saying that, like, you do need that because you need your parents and your grandparents to also be on the fucking streets. There's no other way to stop this. And if your parents and your grandparents are going to get on the streets, the media has to cover it. The media has to cover the anger and the resentment that people feel. Okay? And in order for the media to cover it, you need the opposition party to actually go out on television with regular frequency and constantly give quotes and constantly say, this is up. This is pissing us off. This is not what we are. This is not what America is supposed to be about. What the hell is going on? We need to go out and protest. Military will only target criminals. Yeah, no, totally. Just like they always do. Brother, the military has no training for law enforcement purposes. Okay. You have the military police, but even then, they don't do necessarily a good job. Cops don't even do a fucking good job with this shit, especially in America. The military is even worse than that. The military has one purpose. It's to kill, okay? That is what the job of the military is. They kill people, okay? That's what they do. They kill people. They get sent somewhere and they shoot. They use lethal weapons and they shoot. They don't do crowd control. They don't do any of that. They are there to kill. This is precisely the reason why there are laws in the books against this very same thing that's happening currently. Okay? Now, D.C., of course, is unique because it's not a fully fleshed out state. It's a District of Columbia. So obviously, for that reason, you can federalize. You can basically do a forcible takeover of the policing in D.C. That's probably why this is the entry point for Donald Trump to test this process out. There's also after the 48-hour takeover, you have to justify, like in the first 30 days, exactly why you need to control or federalize the policing in D.C. And then after the 30 days are over, you have to go back to Congress and get congressional approval to continue extending the military occupation of the nation's capital. Now, there are also rules against this sort of thing, specifically designed so that, you know, you don't have some fucking random psychopathic fascist fucking leader decide.
President Trump announcing he is taking control of Washington, D.C. and the police and deploying the National Guard.
I saw this piece earlier. It's very interesting. They're going to say a couple things here that trigger me to no fucking end, but unfortunately, that's the name of the game now. You're going to hear the Fox News host say, who cares about statistics? What actually matters is anecdotes, okay? Get ready, because obviously the data doesn't correspond to the narrative that these guys are fucking cultivating. So either you have two options there. Either you tackle the data, you directly fight back and you say the data is wrong for this reason or that reason, or you just completely drop that and go, crime is up because I feel like crime is up. Okay? It's my personal feeling. It's my personal feeling that matters more. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. My feeling is that crime is up. I see black people all over the place. I see homeless people all over the place. And that scares me. And for that reason, I think we need the military. We need the military to occupy the nation's capital.
In an unprecedented crackdown on crime in our nation's capital.
Mark Meredith joins us now from Washington with the latest. Hey, Mark.
Ainsley, Brian, and Lawrence, good morning, friends. Once again, traditionally getting tough on crime is not controversial, but the White House is facing opposition from D.C. leaders after it vowed to help clean up D.C. streets. We got the idea of what the president's unveiling here. He's dispatching 800 National Guard troops, taking control of D.C.'s police department, and offering more federal resources to help the district get crime under control.
This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad.
We also got a statement from D.C. City Council. They responded to Trump saying this is a manufactured intrusion on local authority. Violent crime in the district is at the lowest rates we have seen in 30 years. The statement goes on to say federalizing the police department is unwarranted because there is no federal emergency. But guys, crime is still happening, including overnight. There was a fatal shooting roughly 1 mile from the White House. Now we're hearing from D.C.'s U.S. attorney, who is urging local leaders to stiffen the punishments criminals may face for crimes both big and small.
We've got to repeal these laws of the left-leaning D.C. Council, one member of whom I just indicted recently, and we've got to make this place safe for the people in the district.
Mark, the dynamic was so fascinating yesterday because you have the mayor come out and go, well, crime is down. I don't know why he's doing this. He's got a pandemic mindset. But almost everyone in the press room is. This is the best part. This is the best part. Get ready. Brian killed me about to pop off. Living in Washington or the surrounding areas. So you don't need to see a bar graph or a pie chart. Don't look at it. Don't look at the pie graphs. Don't look at the bar chart. Don't look at the data. Don't look at the data. Don't look at the data. My feelings, and your feelings. Oh, you don't actually feel like crime is actually that significant of a problem in DC, or you feel like it's gotten significantly better? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. My feelings over your feelings. Please stop. Stop looking at facts. Don't look at the data. Don't look at the data. What are you, gay? What are you, woke? The framing here from a mainstream instrument of media is so alarming, dude. There's certain things that they're not supposed to do. This is one of the things that they're not supposed to do, okay? The sense that no matter your proclivity or what you thought of the president, the people in that room know there's a problem with crime in that city, regardless of what stat is out there?
Brian, I couldn't agree with you more because statistics don't tell the entire story. And obviously, if you're a victim of crime or if you know somebody. Statistics don't tell the reality. Oh, that's right. Hey, man, perhaps there is a need for statistics for this exact same reason, because personal anecdotes, especially as it pertains to crime, are so emotional. When you have a degree of emotional investment, when you actually have like a low impact crime, let's say someone broke into your car. Okay. Someone broke into your car. They didn't even steal anything. They just broke your window. That is a costly endeavor for you, but more importantly, it's an emotional endeavor. Why is it an emotional endeavor? Because you feel like your sense of security has been ripped away from you.
I totally understand why someone who's been victim to such an act is going to feel insecure, is going to feel scared. Okay. So that person is obviously going to think crime is actually completely out of control. It's gotten out of hand, right? This is precisely the reason why we need empirical evidence. Why do we need empirical evidence? Because anecdotes are clouded by bias, okay? And especially when it comes to something like crime, if you have been mugged or if you have experienced some kind of crime, low impact, high impact, doesn't matter. Your personal relationship with this, your personal relationship with whether or not crime is completely out of control is going to be completely out of whack. We have no way. You have no way at that point to like make an assessment. It's just your own personal individual experience.
I'll tell you, I went to the Starbucks yesterday before going to the White House. I asked this barista, she's got a 4-year-old boy. She's out there every day at 5 in the morning working her butt off. I said, what do you think about the National Guard coming? She goes, thank God they've got to get the city under control, because she deals with the homeless in the store. She's got to deal with the crime in Anacostia. D.C. residents, yes, they are aware that this is going to be a huge political fight, but there is absolutely a crime problem in the nation's capital.
Yeah, if you live in a neighborhood, you just want safety. You don't care how it's done. So Donald Trump said that he's invoking this under Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act. He had to notify Congress, right? Yeah. And he is able to bring in the National Guard for the next 30 days without having a vote from Congress.
Brother, a cool story, by the way. But also, even if it was true, how is the military the solution to this? We're such a stupid society, man. We are so fucking stupid. This wave of anti-intellectual thought has completely destroyed any kind of good governance that we could have. Okay? It's over. It's done. It's fucking Jover. There are homeless people everywhere. Okay. How do we solve it? I don't know. Fix the housing market. Offer them fucking permanent shelter, okay? And then start the rehabilitation process with the housing first policy, okay? Those are successful methods of combating homelessness. Nah, I don't want to do that. We should just kill the homeless with the military. We should use the military to kill the homeless. Okay, we'll just go with that one.
Congress, is that right?
Ainsley, that is right. And he did notify the appropriate committees yesterday. So basically the clock is ticking. This gives Congress until mid-September to decide whether or not they want to extend the emergency. But this is unprecedented. We don't know what this is going to look like in the next week, 2 weeks, whether or not this is actually going to be well received by D.C. residents or if there's going to be pushback. My bet, Ainsley, guys, would be that by the weekend, when there's going to be an uptick in whether or not there's people out and about, whether we see more crime and how it's handled, if people say this is a good thing, or they're saying this is going in the wrong direction. But we had a fatal shooting just last night. So crime certainly, that was my favorite point, was that the council was saying there is no crime emergency. And then we had a fatal shooting 1 mile from the White House, Logan Circle.
Yeah, one fatal shooting a mile away from the White House does not mean there's a crime emergency. What are you talking about? There's never going to be zero crime, dude.
Area of the city. Not that it means that it shouldn't happen in other areas, but it's still absolutely happening.
All right, Mark. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history.
Whoa, wait a minute. What? What the fuck? What the heli? What the heliante? Wait, hold on. I'm confused, bro. I didn't know he was just a little guy, by the way. That's kind of funny. Huh. Interesting. I guess it's already working. Donald Trump's true positioning has worked already in spectacular ways, in ways that you never thought was possible. Pre-crime is down. Interesting. Oh, also, here's one reason why gun crime is a problem in America, including in D.C., in the nation's capital. Let's take a look. Maybe guns could be a factor here to consider.
Out of time? That means he's had enough. Goodbye. Thank you. I want you to report on
But
this.
you said it's guns. You said it's guns on the street that's causing this problem. Are you concerned that the DOJ's funding cuts to gun violence prevention programs undermine the effort?
Stop it. We are putting all kinds of resources onto the street.
But what about the gun aspect of the gun violence?
Thank you guys. Thanks.
That's great, man. I love having members of the administrative state and people in positions of power that are just like visibly drunk. I feel so safe. Oh, stop it.
Thank you, Mark.
So, Brian, to your point, the press is in the city.
You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. This drunk asshole who is a fake judge on television knows what she's talking about when she's visibly hammered. Me, on the other hand, what do I know? I'm only using woke data to point to the actual reality and not one that is crafted off of narratives and anecdotes and hysteria.
We've heard stories for years. We've seen camera crews be attacked. But I'm sorry, their questioning of the president during the press conference yesterday wasn't reflective of that. And they kept citing numbers. Well, we have some numbers for you. So if you compare Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia's crime to everyone in the country, when it comes to total violent crime, it's the 10th highest in the country. When it comes to homicides, it's the 4th highest in the country. And vehicle theft, which we've heard this for years now with the carjack, they're number 1 in the country. So don't tell us that it's safe and the president's overreacting and that the numbers are going down when this is the case.
Yeah, we hear all about drugs down in Colombia, right? Well, when you compare D.C. to other countries around the world, look how much higher the murder rates in that capital city per 100,000 people is.
What's one aspect of the murder rates that are seemingly so much lower in these other capital cities? I can't seem to put my finger on the trigger. What could it be? I just can't seem to figure out what the reason is. Okay? What could it be that Paris, London, all these other places, like, there's only one gun store in the entire state of Mexico, in the entire nation, okay? They get all their guns from us. We give them the guns in exchange for drugs, of course. And even then, it's seemingly lower. What could it be? I just can't put my finger on it.
D.C. has almost 28. Colombia, 15. Mexico City, almost 11. Islamabad, 9.2. Lima, Peru, 7.6. Paris, 1.6. You get the idea. But D.C. is, 27 times higher than London?
So here's the thing. I think the mayor gets it. So she was like torn at her press conference because what city wouldn't want additional law enforcement to help suppress crime? It makes them look better. Number one, you want to make sure your neighbors are safe, and everybody knows it's not safe. The numbers are down to compare it where it was.
Just saying. I like, it's not even a question, okay? And it's not because like red states are inferior or anything like that. It's because they have looser gun laws. It's that simple. It blows my mind. It fucking blows my mind that we just don't even, like, we don't discuss this.